ha 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 ha, hee 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 hee. Penelope, 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 dear child. And see a sight you've longed for all these days. Odysseus has come home, and high time too. He has killed the rogues who turned his whole house up inside out, ate up his wealth, and bullied his son. My dear nurse, the gods have made you daft. It's as easy for you to rob them of their wisest wits as to make stupid people wise. And now they've addled your brains, which used to be so sound. How dare you make sport of my distress by waking me when I have closed my eyes for a comfortable nap, only to tell me this nonsense? Never have I slept so soundly since Odysseus sailed away to that accursed place I cannot bring myself to mention. Be off with you! Off with you now downstairs and back into your quarters. Is any of the other maids to come and waken me to listen to such stuff? I'd soon have packed her off with her own place with a box on the ears. You can thank your age for saving you from that. I'm not making fun of you, dear child. Odysseus really has come home, just as I told you. He's the stranger whom they all scoffed at in the hall. Telemachus has known for some time that he is back, but he had a sense to keep his father's plans a secret till he made those upstairs pay for their villainy. Dear nurse, I beg you for the truth. Is he really home, as you say? How on earth did he manage single-handed against that rascally crew who always hang around the house in a pack? I never saw a thing. I knew nothing about it. All I heard were the groans of dying men. We sat petrified in the corner of our quarters with the door shut tightly on us till your son Telemachus shouted for me to come out. His father had sent to fetch me, and I found Odysseus standing among the bodies of the dead. They lay around him in heaps all over the floor. It would have done you good to see him, splattered with blood and filth like a lion. By now all the corpses have been gathered. Don't laugh too soon, dear nurse. Don't boast about them yet. You know how everyone at home would welcome the sight of him, and nobody more than myself and son we brought into the world. But this tale of yours does not ring true. It must be one of the immortal gods that has killed the young lords, provoked, no doubt, by their galling insolence and wicked ways. For they respected nobody they met. Good men and bad men were all the same to them. Meanwhile, Odysseus is in some distant land, has lost his chance of everything getting home, with the loss of his life. My child, how can you say such a thing? Here is your husband at his own fireside, and you declare he will never get home? What little faith you always have had. But let me tell you something else, a fact that proves the truth. You know the scar he had where he was wounded long ago by the tusk of a boar? I never saw that very scar when I was washing him, and would have told you of it if Odysseus, for his own crafty purposes, hadn't seized me by the throat and prevented me. Come with me now. I stake my life, if I've ever played you false, kill me in the cruelest way you can. Dear nurse, you are a very wise old woman, but even you cannot probe into the minds of everlasting gods. However, let us go to my son, so I can see my suitors dead, together with the man who has killed them.
Mother, you strange hard-hearted mother of mine, why do you keep so far from my father? Why aren't you sitting at his side, talking and asking questions all the while?
My child, the shock has numbed it. I cannot find a word to say to him. I cannot ask him anything at all. I cannot even look him in the face. But if it is Odysseus home again, we two shall surely recognize each other, and even in a better way, for there are tokens between us which only we two know, and no one else has heard of.
Telemachus, leave your mother to put me to the proof of the proof here in our home. She will soon come to a better mind. At the moment, because I'm in rags, and she gives me the cold shoulder and won't admit that I'm Odysseus, but you and I must consider what is best to be done. When a man has killed a fellow citizen, just one with hardly any friends to carry on the feud, He is outlawed. He lives his kith and kin and flies the country. But we have killed the pick of the Ithacan nobility, the mainstay of our state. There is a problem for you.
Go.
One you must grapple with yourself, dear father. For at getting out of a difficulty, you are held to be the best man in the world, with no one else to touch you. We will follow your lead. As I see it then, our best plan will be this. Wash yourselves first, put on your tunics, and tell the maids in the house to get dressed. Then let our
You are strange. I am not being haughty or indifferent. I'm not even unduly surprised. I have too clear a picture of you in my mind as you were when you sailed from Ithaca in your long-oared boat. Come, Euclidia, make him a comfortable bed outside the bedroom he built so well for himself. Place the big bed out there and make it up with rugs and blankets with the laundered sheets.
Penelope, you exasperate me. Who, if you please, has moved my bed elsewhere? Short of a miracle, it would be hard even for a skilled workman to shift it somewhere else, and the strongest young fellow alive would have a job to budget. There's our secret, and I have shown you that I know it. What I don't know, madam, is whether my bedstead stands where it did, or whether someone has cut the tree trunk through and shifted it elsewhere.
Odysseus, do not be cross with me. You who were always the most reasonable of men, all our unhappiness is due to the gods. You couldn't bear to see us share the youth of and reach the threshold of our age together. But don't be angry with me now, or hurt because the moment when I first saw you I did not kiss you as I kiss you now. For I always had this cold fear in my heart that somebody might come and bewitch me with this talk. There are plenty of rogues who could see such a chance, and though I give Helen would never have slept in her foreign lover's arms had she known about her countrymen, would go as far to fetch her back to Argos, even as she was the daughter of Zeus, was tempted by the goddess and fell. Though the idea of such
So come to bed now, my dear wife, and let us comfort ourselves while we can with our sweet sleep in each other's arms.
Your bed shall be ready the moment you wish to use it, now that the gods have brought you back to your own country and your lovely home. But since it did occur to you to speak of this new ordeal, please tell me all about it, for I certainly found out later, and it could be no worse than to hear it all.
Alright.